poetry around the setup is pretty great. And then we're out of 2020 too, so 2021 seems like a better year.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Just start off the year fresh. And I think COVID also kind of with some reservations for me. I just at the beginning of the year there was a lot of unknowns, like can these events work? Are they safe? Like
Sure.
just some normal reservations from that standpoint. And I just getting to a place where we've had some consistent training and then moving into a spot where we're ready for some matchups.
Yeah, and I guess speaking to 2020 and the unusualness of it, you said getting back to regular training and consistent training. Like, and I know you came on the show, but it's been several months. What was your training like at the beginning, and when did it start to become like regularity and more consistent?
Yeah, I mean, I still don't think we're at regular. Like for example, the Olympic Training Center shut down and closed their doors again. So I mean, we're floating
Right.
again. So like USA Wrestling's trying their best, but it's just the situation we're in doesn't lend a hand to areas that have upticks, and unfortunately, we're in one of those areas. And so for at the very beginning, I actually got hurt at the Pan Ams and spent the first few months just kind of recovering. And then my sister was living with me. And so we started doing some just hand fighting drills and some technique drills and just working out in the backyard. We got together with a group of a couple national team athletes, Mallory Velty and Catherine Fulballen Shy and Kelsey Campbell, and just kind of had these little sessions, I guess, and just got some coaches. We just called up people. We're like, hey, Carrie McCoy, will you run a practice for us? Like Nate Angle, Terry. I mean, just kind of grabbed people that we knew that could run a good practice and did a lot of stance in motion. It was really funny. I came back to practice and Terry was like, are your feet going to move like this forever? I'm like, probably not. Just this is the only thing I've been doing for like months is stance in motion.
Yeah.
And so don't get used to it. My knees are going to start to hurt again. And my feet are not going to move like this forever.
Wow.
But yeah, we're finally back on the mat and getting some training in with testing and making it work. So right now we're getting a couple practices a weekend, and obviously the holidays always mess things up, especially like I'm lucky enough that my family lives in Colorado, but there's a lot of people who do leave for the holidays, and the training center like COVID protocol is like a 2-week process. Like you have to quarantine and retest and then get your results back, and everything just takes time. So you kind of lose 10 days every time you leave or go anywhere. So it hasn't, still not normal.
Nor ideal.
Yeah.
So you had these park workouts where you'd get Kerry McCoy or Nate Angle, whoever you people you mentioned, and you still not at the OTC. You were for a little bit, right? And then they closed the doors again. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even the weeks that like Tamyra and I both live in Colorado Springs, but I feel like we've only trained together a handful of times because she was either in the quarantine process and then I would leave, and it just like never worked out that we were both healthy and COVID safe at
Yeah.
the same time. So we have a couple solid weeks under our belts, but definitely not like an entire month. And between the trainings that are shutting down and us finding different places to train, it just didn't really lend a hand to us being able to have consistent training with each other. So we've both been wrestling Terry a lot.
All right. Okay. I guess that was my next question. You had these outdoor workouts with whoever you could get to run practices. Now it sounds like you found wrestling space somewhere, Matt. Are you running are girls getting together, women getting together, and somebody running it, or is it one-on-ones with Terry or whoever, or kind of or is it just different every day?
It kind of, I would call it like camps. We'll have like a 10-day period where a coach will come in, run practices consistently, and everyone's a little bit different. Like there's some people who don't ever leave Colorado, and they, I think, have had a little bit more consistency with a coach coming in and running practices, but they've definitely just had the same training partners, every single day.
Yeah.
So I've been lucky enough, like I got to go down to Florida and train with Kayla Harrison and do something a little bit different in an MMA room and just have her, use my wrestling skills just to, it was different for sure. Like we did a lot of wrestling on the cage, and obviously in wrestling, there's no cage. So it was different, but I really enjoyed it. We've been trying to get together to train together for I mean, since she left the training center like 6 years ago. So when they canceled the world championships, I was in shape and I was excited and I was kind of had some pent up energy, just like ready to do something. And then called her up once they canceled it and told her like, hey, do you need me? Can I come down? And she luckily had a fight coming up and she's like, can you, the sooner the better, my fight's in like 10 days. And so I just jumped on a plane the next day and went down and trained for, I ended up staying actually down there for like 3 weeks between her before and after fight. So it was nice. I really had a good time.
Where does she train in Florida?
She's an American Top Team
Okay,
in
yeah.
like Coconut Grove area. Yeah,
Yep,
so
yep. Big
yeah,
facility.
it was nice. Yeah, I was really happy with the facility.
Yep. Was Mako down there? I know he's
Yeah.
has a wrestling club, right?
Yep, he does,
Yeah.
and he's one of Kayla's coaches too. So it was nice to be in the room with him, and then Kayla and I got to do like we're full grown adults too. So it was kind of nice to just kind of go off on our own and do our own little sessions where
Yeah.
we would just get in the cage and kind of break down very specifically what these moves are supposed to be doing and like where to put your hand. And I feel like MMA has these rest periods in there that wrestling doesn't, and
Yep.
she was so good at them that she was making me exhausted during the during our like long rounds of wrestling that we were doing. But when it came to technique sessions, we were trying to figure out just some very specific things on where you could grab so you could hold but not exhaust your grip, and just how to wait for the person to be tired enough to make your move in some of the front headlock positions, or like how the on the cage when you're like in on that single leg and how to pull the person up, because her judo throws are incredible, so anytime we can get her into that position. So we spent a lot of time just kind of figuring out why you're driving and how to get their hips up a little bit higher, and it was interesting.
Yeah. So, and you're talking about you were doing wrestling for MMA training in these scenarios you're talking about right now, right? It wasn't like just wrestling, right? It was like wrestling within MMA. Is that right?
Yeah, so we did do some wrestling rounds, or I would call them like very specific wrestling positions that we worked on is what we did. So she would do some MMA fighting and then like 5 minute rounds or something ridiculously long. And then she would bring me in and do like 4 more 5 minute rounds of just me holding. She's like, get in a double leg and push me against the cage and I'm going to get out. And so we
Oh,
would just spend
cool.
like 5 minutes in that position, and my grip would just be fried because I'm just sitting there driving the entire time, not knowing I'm supposed to be like breathing or rest.
It's
And
important.
wrestling's just such a sprint.
Yeah.
And Jerry could never get me to do 5 minute goes. And so I went into this new environment and Mako's like, yeah, just go in there and don't let her up off the mat. I'm like, all right, that's like my job. So just got on top and didn't let her up for as long as I could.
Okay. Did you? I mean, the whole time you were down there, were you either doing straight up wrestling or like wrestling with MMA? Like, did you ever get the itch to put the gloves on and take a punch, or hit an armbar or a choke?
Yeah, I did. I put some gloves on and she kind of showed me. I really struggled the first day because, a lot of my wrestling obviously is bent over and I do a lot of fakes. Well, they don't respond to fakes, they kick you in the face. And so every time I kept like trying to change elevation and move into them, and then I would get like a foot moving towards my head, and so it was me standing up, and I just got very humbled the first day. Like I honestly thought I was going to be able to hold my own. Like Kayla's cutting for a fight right now and is a bit smaller than me, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to be able to out wrestle her. Like I'm a 5 time world champion. And then we went in there and she just stood me up and threw me like 7 times, and I called my coach the next day. I'm like, what is happening? I'm like, I am just getting thrown. And I mean, I get thrown. Like it's not a surprise. Like I got thrown in the finals of our of world champions. So I know that my feet like to come off the ground from time to time. But at the same time, I'm usually able to recover and score. And for just the adjustment of how to close the distance while standing straight up was very hard for me to do. And so the like third and fourth day, and I kept telling her, I'm like, when I come back next time, I'm gonna be so much better. I'm like, I feel like I'm just like feeding into everything that you want me, like that you want to be doing. And
Yeah.
it was because we'd get on the ground and I would be trying to put her to her back, and she'd have me in like a full bar arm, like all
Uh-huh.
the way, like about to snap my elbow. And I'm like, I'm scoring, like I'm counting freestyle two,
Yeah.
two, and she's like, you're about to get your arm broken. So it was kind of weird for both people to feel like they were winning, which is a weird kind of dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was
Absolutely.
was there anything about the structure of the training camp that you think was like novel or useful for thinking about wrestlers approaching training camps for competitions? Was there anything that like they're doing in MMA that you were like, oh, maybe I should try incorporating this into my training for an event?
I've been thinking about kind of the structure of those training camps for a while, just because I feel like they do a lot of wear and tear on the body, and the ability to peak is very important and to feel good at that competition. I think different people have different approaches to it. Like Kayla's definitely a grinder. Like if you've watched any part of Kayla's training, she just says she's like, I'm gonna go. She's Iowa style. Like that is how I would describe Kayla's just mentality for anything. Like she's willing to put in the work and just be completely broken down, and then build herself back up before that fight. And so I personally don't respond well to that. That I like to feel pretty fresh and good. Like I think your training happens over time, and I've been able to wrestle for a long time that I feel like you take these little nuggets along the way. I think that MMA training, like, first of all, I'm not training for a 25-minute fight.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so that's different. So her longer goes don't make sense to me. And I've been trying to tell Terry this forever. I'm like, I don't need to wrestle for 6 minutes. Like, I very rarely wrestle for 6 minutes. We should be training me to wrestle for 2. And so I want to do a true sprint of teching people in 2 minutes. So we don't even have to deal with whatever problems they come up with in that second period. And so he still is training me to be in condition for 6 minutes. Unfortunately, I have not won this battle, but I did not take away that I need to be doing longer goes from the MMA training for sure. Like those are long, and you have to learn how to breathe and pause and pick your battles. And I did not understand that pace of it. So I guess I am not a big enough MMA fan to know that there are moments when you're supposed to just be like, and then go.
Yeah. 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 Not. There's really not those pauses in wrestling that there are in MMA for sure.
They're hard to come by.
Have you ever in the past, or maybe even this training camp, like piqued your interest in a little bit and considered either a fight at some point or a straight up transition and a career in MMA? Obviously, you cut the base if you wanted to.
I don't know. I thought about it, I guess, in like that 2016 round, and then I've been asked to do a couple fights along the years that have just kind of been last minute. They're like, "Hey, we have this person who's been training a while. Can we throw you in this card?" I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm not
Yeah,
going to do this unless they do it for real."
sure.
But I don't know if you guys saw, but Kayla Harrison won the professional fighting league, the PFL,
Yep.
and then Clarissa Shields, who's a boxer. Like we kind of all three of us heavyweights were on the 2016 team, and they both have 2 Olympic gold medals. And so when they transitioned out of their sport into professional boxing or MMA, it seemed like a really like smooth transition for them, and they've done incredibly well. And now Clarissa Shields is coming over to the PFL, and so I'm like super excited because I kind of always thought of us three as like a little unit. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is like the 3 badass heavyweights of America. This is like women who eat, women who are strong. Like this is like our little stronghold that we had, that all kind of were in and around the Olympic Training Center and had similar doctors and experiences as far as just growing up or similar ages. And so when Clarissa signed, I was like, am I supposed to be doing this? I'm like, nah, I'm gonna stick wrestling. I'm very good at what I do, and it would be difficult to transition to a whole new world of understanding all those different entities. And and there's no like real parterre wrestling in it. I was like I was scoring points on Kayla, and she doesn't know a lot about freestyle, and she's like, "You get points for this just for rolling across your back?" I was like, "I sure do." I end all of my matches this way.
I grab your ankles and I twist you up over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
And another, Jordan Burroughs, right? And it's been a little while since, but there was a lot of talk whether or not there was much behind it. About is he gonna transition to MMA? Is he gonna transition? And he's kind of the same way, right? Maybe At first, people thought he was gone, or maybe he even believed he would, but like, no, I'm a wrestler. And you've actually, there's a lot that's been said about his longevity. He made his first world team in 2011, and he's still going in 2020. You made your first world team in 2009, senior level, right?
Mm-hmm. I did.
What's the secret to longevity? You've been like doing this as long as, I don't know if there's a senior level wrestler who's even wrestling in the US Open back in 2009, let alone making world teams. I don't know, but for real, right? I don't know about the secret, but what's helped you have such a long career and compete at such a high level the whole time?
Yeah, I wish I had like a secret sauce. I actually was talking to Mike Machiavello about it. He was just like, "Give me the secret sauce." He's like, "What's the secret?" And I was like, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things that I think I do that have contributed to me being successful, and the longevity of it is just real perseverance and knowing when to listen to your body. I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned in my career, and I know I've talked about it numerous times, is that I listen to my body when it tells me to do more, and I listen to my body when it tells me to do less. And my weightlifting coaches are very important to me because there are times they give me a lift and I'm like, I'm going to do half of this. And I need someone to respond to me and say like, no, 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 you need to do all of it. I'm like, I don't want to fight about this. This is my career and this is my, like this is my moment and you're here to facilitate that. And then I also need them to be able to be on the tip of their toes and be like, hey, I need more right now. Like I don't feel like I did enough. Do you want me just to do 5 more reps of this? Do you want me to add 3 more, like blocks? Like tell me I need extra here. And so it's a good foundation for me to go into wrestling and be able to just specifically do a few things to continue to increase my cardio and my wrestling skills. Because I think a lot of my enjoyment right now comes from weightlifting, not so much wrestling. And so that's a good thing for longevity, is just being excited about what you're doing. And I really like lifting. So it's a good, good thing for sure.
Sure. Do you ever have fights, disagreements, whatever with your coaches? And because you said right there, I need to do all this. I'm only do half. No, do all of it. It's my career. Damn it. Like this is about me. But you also need them to like push you a little bit, right? No, come on, give me more. Like, does that ever like hit ahead and maybe you're like, okay, you know what? Yes. Or like, damn, I'm putting my foot down. No.
I think it's a relationship. Like you just have to build that. I mean, even with my husband, I think we go through moments where I'm telling him like, I need to be loved more this week. Like you need to tell me I'm pretty. I need to be told I am loved. I need a little bit more from you this week. And then, like he does it. And then there are other weeks when I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to Europe and I don't need to talk to you. So are you good? So I'm good. And like, but we had to build to that point of trusting that communication, and that he knows that when I say, I'm feeling unloved, that he's able to, step in and help that. And the same thing with my coaches, like if I come in and say, I'm really broken down, like they need to be able to trust me that that's true and like it's the right timing. And there's definitely discussions about it for sure. Like if I come in and I'm like, I really don't feel like doing this. And I tell my coaches, I'm like, I don't feel like doing this today. And I don't know if it's because I don't want to, or if it's because my body doesn't want it or doesn't need it. I was like, can you talk me into it? And if they can talk me into it and I do it, then I believe it was the right moment. But I kind of open that communication line sometimes of like, sometimes I'm just like, I'm not doing this, bye. And other times I'm like, all right, I'm here. I don't really want to be, what do you have? Let's negotiate a little bit.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it can be some give and take and just understanding. And I've been able to, like, we did have struggles back in 2013 with Terry, like definitely prior to 13 to 14 transition, that year was tough. And it took a lot of hard conversations, and it took a lot of me figuring out what I wanted to do, and us, writing out plans and me adjusting them, and him coming to terms that I really wasn't looking for something that different, just a few moments that I felt like I needed my autonomy and my control over. And that helped us both be able to move forward in some of these workouts that we now have a lot of success in.
And that's like a pretty mature thing to realize and be able to do, right? Like resist the coach, go against them. Typically it's like, whatever you say. Was there an aha moment? Was there something that clicked in your head? It was like, I can't just go do what they say because it's not what I feel I need? And if so, what was that?
It's 2013. I was at the World Championships and I took third. And I remember sitting in the back and China won, and I just started bawling. And I looked at Terry, and Terry's like, "You should be excited. You just took third in the world." And I was like, "I should be in that final. I should be winning this final. Like, I am good enough to be doing this, but I don't feel good enough to be competing at this tournament right now." And from then on, I was like, I have to quit if I'm going to continue on this path. Like, this is not a path of longevity for me. I wasn't happy. I was tired. I didn't feel good. And moving forward, I started making some adjustments. And it is tough. It's tough because in a high school room, it's all about that commitment and proving
Right.
yourself and going in there. And so it's a different world. Like, I'm a professional athlete. I'm about to turn 30. I like I have this whole world that's in a career that I've built. And I don't want to tell children to go in there. I do want to tell children to learn how to listen to their bodies and learn what an injury is versus what just being hurt is. Like, I think those are two very good things to distinguish. But I think for a professional athlete, you need to learn how to communicate with your coach. I think you need to learn how to communicate and trust yourself. And that's what I learned in that year, is that I could trust myself. I could honestly go into a workout and be like, okay, that was enough. Like, that's what I needed. And there's also days that it's not enough. And my philosophy really isn't let's just do more, to say like that there's like all this stuff on Instagram that's like the only bad workout's the one you didn't do. Definitely not the case when you get to this level. There are certain workouts that you shouldn't do, and it's the right thing not to do them, because the timing of what your body needs to recover or to be able to feel fresh for the right moments is very important. Like, if you guys look at my year, I don't compete as much as a lot of other people, but I always make a world team and I always show up at world championships. And so I was laughing because I wrestled at nationals, and someone's like, "Is this something like your third nationals that you've won?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's kind of funny." But I also, I mean, I'm going on 10 world teams, so it's definitely good to have the correct timing.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about those first couple of world teams. I mean, I think in 2009 and 2011, you were both on junior and senior world teams, right? What was it like adjusting to the success that you were having, at the age level, but also being the representative at the senior level? That had to have been a pretty unique experience.
Yeah, it's pretty stressful. And I recommend, like, Macy Kilty is someone who's kind of in that similar situation where she straddles that junior and university and senior level fairly well. And I recommend to coaches, I'm like, just do one world championship. Like, if you think you can win and medal at the senior worlds, like, then just focus on senior worlds. But because it's a lot of stress on the body. With that said, we have two major world championships this year. We have the Olympics and the World Championships. So I'm like, maybe I need to take that out of my head. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what made me great, and we'll go back to it. But no, it was a lot. Like, especially at the beginning when you're young. I remember being at some of these senior level camps and doing the junior session, and then our coach would like give us a snack during the senior warm up, and then we would jump back in for everything for the seniors, and you're just sitting there and you never got a break. You just,
Yeah.
because the juniors would have their turn at their camp. I mean, we were doing as much as the coaches. They're just there all the time. That's kind of how we felt, but it also built great athletes. I mean, that's Aaron Golston, that's Helen Maroulis, that was myself, Jennifer Kett. I mean, those names are the people who went through those practices and did that work early on, and are kind of reaping the benefits of it still to this day. I mean, we learned a lot, we gotten a lot of experiences, a lot of exposure, but yeah, I mean, looking back on it, I think it was a lot to handle, and it definitely was challenging. And if I could go back, I don't know if I would do both of them. But I did them. So
Yeah,
I don't know if I can take it back.
it's so interesting to like think about kind of the way you approach training now compared to that, right? Where that it's like, all right, two practices in a row with this little, juice box in between or whatever. and now it's like, very, very well when the workout is over, when you've gotten what you need out of it. Do you think you would know know how to advocate for your workout, what you need to work out now, if you hadn't gone through those double practices and all that craziness back then?
it's so much experience and learning that you get from those. You know, you learn how to push yourself, you learn that you're tough, you learn how to persevere and find some moments that you really enjoy even when you're miserable. You know, like once you can kind of understand and know that you're capable of those distance pieces, I don't know if you have to be doing them every day. Like I don't think at 29 years old I should be doing grind matches to prove that I can. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at with it. Where back in the day, I don't know if I knew that I could. I vividly remember Randy Miller was our coach for a brief moment up in Northern Michigan, and she told me that I was going to do 100 pull-ups, and I'm like, I'm a girl. I'm not going to do 100 pull-ups. I was like, I just, there's no way. And she made us sit in this gym and do 100 pull-ups, and it was incredible because at the end, I completed 100 pull-ups and in one sitting, and it was very important for me to know that I could go that distance. With that said, the only crazy person I know who does 100 pull-ups anymore is Jennifer Page, but it still was important for me to know I could do that my body could do that my mind could do that. And that's, I think, what you learn in those beginning years, and by pushing yourself and going through those camps and going through those grueling practices where, I mean, I remember being at the Olympic Training Center and was too tired to lift the fork to my mouth. Like I just I don't know if I can lift my arm again. Like I think the third time is enough. I just started taking very big bites because I had to prepare myself to like lift my fork up. And walking up those stairs, no matter how good of shape you're in, you're always in those barracks in the back in the third levels where they always put you with like 5 people to a room. And you learn that you kind of build up to those pieces. And so I think like climbing the ladder, like now I live in the suites in the main dorms that are connected to the cafeteria. Like I don't want to go back to those 5-person dorms either. Like I think you definitely learn what you don't want to do so that you can get to at least some of us will get to the top and be able to stay there.
Cool. I want to switch gears a little bit and put your mean face on because Tamyra's looking to rip your head off. No, you guys wrestled, I think it was 2017. You already had some world titles under your belt. She was like a little bit more green, right? And I think you won 8-0. How much different is Tamyra of a wrestler today than she was when y'all competed in 2017?
Well, I want to preface the 2017 for being a little bit my fault because they had a rule that you didn't get paid unless there were 5 people in your bracket, and there were only 4 of us. And Tamyra was at the weight class below me, and I was like, "Hey, bump up so we can get paid." and so she had cut weight to make the smaller weight class, and then I forced her to come up, and then we ended up in the finals, and it was a tough bracket. I think it was like Falcon and
oh wow,
China was there, Canada was there, and on my side I wrestled like 2 college women, and then she wrestled all like the badasses of the future world champions in my weight classes, and she just destroyed them. And then we got to the final, and I definitely got the better of her. But Tamyra has grown as an athlete, she has grown as a person, she has grown as a wrestler, and it's been really awesome to watch. Honestly, I remember the first time we wrestled back, I think it was like back in 2011. I was at Wayland Baptist, and I was there for a camp, and the coach brought her in and was like, "Hey, like I have a drill partner for you. She's pretty good." I'm like, "Okay, like sure, bring me your college kid. Like let's." And then she came out. I'm like, "Oh wow, you actually are pretty good. I'm going to be seeing you." And then just a few years later, she's at the Olympic Training Center, just absorbing everything, and just brings a whole new light and energy to our room and our practices. So it's been awesome to watch her grow and to see her win a world championship. I was like crying in the stands. It was like, I was like, I'm so proud.
Absolutely.
So it's fun because she's definitely my teammate and my friend, and to still get better with her every single day. I think we both know that we get to train with each other, and we're 2 of the best people in the world, which is a pretty incredible experience to have daily.
That backstory is very, very helpful. It gives us some context. We were actually watching that match this morning, and he's like, "Why the heck was Tamyra up at that weight?" And I'm like, I don't know. You just people just go up sometimes, but to know that she was cutting weight to go down, you're like, yo,
Yeah,
let's get that cheddar.
I was like, this doesn't make sense because
Yeah.
I looked at her like her other events around that time, and I'm like, there's why? So that's we were like wondering. That's great.
And the fact that
Yeah,
I
it was
guess
my
that,
fault. It was definitely selfish, for sure. And
well, I don't even know
but
if
it
fault's the
worked
right
out.
word.
We got paid, so that was important. Like it's
Yeah.
hard to come by a paycheck sometimes. So it was a good thing that we did that.
And the
Yeah.
fact that she got this experience over all these other studs you were talking about on the other side, beating the
I
women who would go on
know.
to
Well,
win some
I'll have to
titles.
go back and look at that bracket, but I remember I was kind of excited to wrestle. I think maybe the Brazilian was there too. There was like a whole slew of good athletes on that other side of the bracket, and I was like, nice.
I feel like one of the things that set Tamyra kind of up over the top since 17 and a breakthrough in 18 and even bigger breakthrough in 19 was like the confidence. Because I'd see this young lady at practice, someone just like, she's a dog. She's killing people. And I don't know how anybody could stop her. And then she'd go out there and just like kind of freeze up a little bit or just not maybe wrestle to her potential. And you like, maybe she just didn't believe it. Did you see that? And did you see like the belief eventually show up?
So I would say it's almost like an unawareness is what I call Tamara's like power and strength that she has. My favorite story is actually from the weight room because we were doing like similar to like max day essentially, and I consider myself pretty strong. I lift more than anyone on my team, like often wise. I am up to like 5 days a week sometimes. So
Wow.
everyone else in the room varies between like 2 to 3 days a week, and we were doing max day, and I did my max, and then Tamara came over and lifted it no problem, and I was kind of like bitter. And then they put like 50 pounds on, and she lifted it no problem, and I was kind of sitting there like, okay, put 50 more on. And then they put 50 more on. She lifted like a Tesla by the end of this thing. We must have done one rep maxes for 30 minutes. She's like, guys, I'm really tired. I'm like, no, you're going to do this so you can't do it. So you make it look hard. Like, I was so angry. Like, I left so fired up. I'm like, my legs aren't even strong. I'm like, I was so mad. And she just has this like, this power and this incredible energy that she is just able to tap into, and you feel it, and it's scary when you wrestle her. Like there are moments when I'm like, oh my gosh, you could have thrown me across the mat and just driven me into the next universe. And she was like, but you got on top. I'm like, yeah, because you stopped for a half a second and I got scared. I had to move. So there's these like moments where I feel, and what she's doing and the reason she's become champion is she's realizing those moments and she's taking them and she's putting in the energy and the effort and just the consistency in learning positions, and then realizing that she has this raw energy that she can just go in and just be herself and just wrestle. And she is learning instinct, and just it's good. It's really fun to do for sure, because she prepares me to wrestle other people around the world that don't have that same extra effort.
Was there a time when you saw that, I forget what you called it, unrealized potential or whatever, where you saw her figure it out and she was like, it clicked and they're like, uh-oh, watch out, world.
And not I don't know if it's that quick. Like she kind of needs a few reps with it. Like she'll do it. I'm like, that was it. And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I think you bruised my quad. There are times when I just feel her power, and I have to like tell her, and I mean, I'll have to ask her. It's been a while since I've kind of picked her brain about it, but she definitely has these moments where she just feels so powerful and so slick that you almost feel dumb on the mat, because she'll like fake and then you fall a little bit and then she's like behind you and you're like, ah.
Yeah. When's the last time you guys trained together?
I think like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it hasn't been not long.
Before this got announced, though? Before this? Or have you trained together since?
Yeah, we haven't trained together since it got announced. Didn't it get announced after Christmas? Yeah, I don't think we've seen each other.
I think it was the
each other
day
since Christmas.
after, maybe. It was like a belated Christmas present for all
Yeah, not since
wrestling
Christmas.
fans. Okay. Have you guys? I know you're friends, right? And I know, but you are wrestling. Now, there's got to be at least some kind of. Have you guys spoken since it's all been
Yeah.
set? You call up,
We've had a couple
cuss her out,
chats.
tell her she's
She hates when I cuss.
well, she's a sweetheart.
She's not a cusser, that's for sure.
Yeah. Um, how do you feel, right? I mean, you go into usually you go into a tournament, right? And you feel anxious or excited or nervous or whatever. Does this feel similar or different? Right, the nerves, the emotions, whatever you want to call it, leading it. It is different. It is a big card with a big main event, and you guys are a huge co-main event, and a lot of eyeballs on it. Does it feel like another match, or does it feel?
No, it definitely feels different. I actually haven't lost domestically to an American since I lost Olympic trials in 2012. And so yeah, it's been I mean, and I feel like I haven't had like a decent match, honestly, with anyone in years. So to wrestle somebody of high caliber who's also a world champion, like I haven't had that opportunity. And I know what Tamyra holds. Like I wrestle her in practice, and she gets the better of me a lot. And so I'm a little nervous about it. And so it's exciting though. To get to wrestle your friend is fun, and get to wrestle somebody who we've been doing enough training together and separately that I feel like we're not going to be knowing what each other's moves are, but at the same time, we're going to respect certain areas that could turn into some very interesting flurries. And so we each have our own game plans, and we're gamers, you know, like I think when the lights and cameras are on, it's going to be an exciting moment for us.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. I'm just like picturing those flurries in my head and what they could look like, and they could be very dynamic and exciting. And hopefully we see a ton of them. I hope the score is like 25-26 or something.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I don't want a 2-1 match, shot clock point. You know, having seen both of you wrestling and go full go, I know damn well what you're both capable of. So we're very much looking forward to it. And we've got Tamyra on the line. We're going to bring her on, get the both of you up there. Tamyra, how are you? Can you hear us? Thanks for joining us.
Hey, you guys. I can hear you guys just fine. What's up, Adeline? That's funny.
Hi.
I tuned in when you had said, I tuned in when you said she doesn't curse, and like, when I'm mad, I think I do. So,
Well, try not to make you mad. All right, now that we got you both here, we've been chatting with Adeline for the last 30, 40 minutes, and we're getting ready to start chatting with you, Tamyra. But we do this with all our guests when we have two guests, and you guys just both happen to be getting ready to throw down in about a week. It's called the overlapping question, right? And we'll start with you, Adeline. Got a question you can ask Tamyra. We'll let you, Tamyra, answer. Then we'll go the other way, and then we'll let you go, Adeline, and then we'll continue with Tamyra. But to get things kicked off, Adeline, you have the floor.
All right, Tamyra, I gave you permission to do the double hand wave, but I gotta know if you win, what's gonna be your what's gonna be your victory dance? Because I think I have to revoke my double hand wave.
we did talk about that. She did give me permission, y'all, like maybe a month ago. I was like, can I do that? Before we were even going to be having a match together. I agree. I think you should revoke it, and I'll just like go to what I usually do, which is smile and wave.
Just one hand. Okay. All right.
One hand. That's pretty much what I do. I just go, it's over. I'm tired.
I've seen that one. I've obviously seen this a lot. Now that you say it, that's your signature. I like it.
That is my signature.
You've given this a lot of thought, I can tell.
It's on the record, though. It's officially revoked. The permission has been officially
Denied.
revoked. Is that right? Okay.
Permission denied.
No double waves. I'll do it next time.
Okay.
You can do it in France.
Yes, in France.
Okay, that was great. Tamyra, it's your turn if you got a question for our good friend Adeline.
Adeline, who do you think will score first between me and you?
I think I will.
All right.
Can I get a follow-up?
Yeah, what's your follow-up?
Tamyra, who do you think is going to score first?
If the cards play in my favor, obviously me. but it just depends because like she said, like I have to respect certain things that she does and vice versa. So if I get in a position that I know that she's capable of scoring, yeah, it's definitely gonna happen. You guys know Adeline. Like I have to stay away from those tie-ups. So we'll see. I'm excited. I was just thinking about it. I wonder who's gonna score first between the two of us.
Hmm.
We should ask Terry this question. I think he'll be a good person to ask. I want to share one more story. We were
Yeah.
at practice and Sarah Hildebrandt, her practice partner couldn't make it. Some COVID restriction stuff. And her and Terry were wrestling and Tamyra and I were wrestling and we had some like longer live goes that day. And I just kept hearing Sarah be like, Terry, can we be done? I want to watch. And so Tamyra and I were like going at it. Like we were just ended up in these incredible scrambles. Like we were just beating each other up. And I just keep looking over and Sarah and Terry are just kind of sitting there, just watching. They're just posted up on the mat, just like talking and just analyzing. And so I think they would have a good insight on who's going to score first and who's going to be able to capitalize because I think they saw some holes in certain areas. And I also think they saw some moments when there was just some brilliant wrestling. So it was kind of funny. I just thought it was hilarious that I was like, oh, Tamyra and I doing this like live flow matchup. I'm so excited that the world's going to get to see this because it was just a private show for Sarah.
Well, who won that exchange, guys, ladies?
We wrestled for like 30 minutes. It was like multiple goes. Yeah.
Who scored first?
Who got the better? I want to hear both of you say, I won.
It was interchanging. It was like I got something, she got something.
At the end of 30 minutes, somebody had more points.
I wasn't Tamyra, who had your points?
I don't keep score.
I just want you to say I beat her and I'm going to kick her butt on January 9th. I know you guys are too nice and you won't do that, but we can wish. Okay, Adeline, any parting words before we let you get going and continue on with this goofball?
Well, enjoy this goofball for sure. But no, thank you for having me on, and I'm looking forward to the matchup. And I'm pumped to watch this card too. I think I'm gonna have to make sure my warm up area is in a position where I can see everything.
Well, I haven't. It's a new venue, but I don't. It's usually like one warm up mat, one mat to go on, and I think there's a TV probably in there for the people not in the wrestling room to watch. So you'll be able to keep
Excellent.
tuned. Awesome. Well, thanks so much. It's been a blast. It always is,
right.
Adeline. Yep. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. You gave a face when I called you a goofball. Do you not think you're a goofball?
When you call, well, I don't. Dang it!
We love you, Tamyra.
I don't consider myself a goofball, but I do know when I called Terry old in Spanish, I called him viejo. He said that I was a dork.
I never said you're a dork. That's goofy's just goofy.
Well, I think it's kind of like the same, like dork, goofball, silly.
That's not. I don't consider them to be the same. If you do, okay. But you're just a joy. Always ball of energy. I think, as Adeline said.
And I'm bowing.
Okay, I appreciate that. Very animated, always. I guess we'll just start with. We kind of asked Adeline the same thing. Is this a match you thought would happen at some point, or is it just something that maybe fans talk about, and there's just lots of fake matches that fans talk about that never come to fruition?
Well, honestly, we've actually wrestled live in a match at Dave Schultz.
Yep. 2017.
A few years ago. Yeah, 2017. And I'm pretty sure we also had a lot. I think we've had 2 live matches before. I'm not entirely sure. But I feel like it's a match that people want because, like Adeline said, and nothing against people in her weight class, she hasn't had like a spectacular match in the US where someone is just like putting that pressure on her and just like going hard at her. And like for her to, I'm super honored for her to find that in a lower weight class, me. It says a lot about my character and like my wrestling and how I can really like give her what she needs, which is helping her become a better wrestler. And I think when it comes to the fans, they should already know that we've wrestled before. If they're like honestly, like they should know. And yeah,
Yeah,
they
but
should
I
know we
mean,
wrestled. She beat me.
you guys wrestled. She beat you 3.5 years ago. Right? It was
Was it
2017.
that long ago?
Time flies as we get older. Right? The years just fall off. Seconds are slow and years are fast. You're a different wrestler, and a lot of it maybe right when you came on before you joined us, we were talking about this. Like, you've obviously improved physically, but I think from my perspective, the mental jump and the confidence in yourself and your ability has been more impactful. So you can say everybody knows we wrestled before, but you have a bronze and then a gold, and you're like this woman who's badass and believes in herself. So this is going to be. This isn't like, okay, Adeline's bigger and she's won more. This is like, no, what's going to happen? These are both like two of the pound for pound toughest women on the planet. Fair to say?
Wow. Wow. That was well put. Oh my gosh. We are two of the most toughest women on this planet.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, in wrestling, like, that's incredible. Well, when you put it that way, I think fans are going to be shocked at what they see because, like you said, I'm not the same wrestler I was 3 years ago. And you are correct in saying that my mental, I guess, fortitude, I really don't know the word. I try to throw a word out there and hopefully it sticks. But but my mental toughness has definitely increased and gotten way better. And one of the reasons why is due to Adeline. Adeline's always telling me, "Hey, Tamyra, like, you can beat anybody. Like, you're really tough. Like, go out there. Like, it's gonna be fun." And like, we even challenge each other in these years now, and go like, "Hey, who can like have the fastest match?" And it's really funny because we're both like basically first round wrestlers. So I don't think you guys are going to see a first round match. Like, it's probably going to go to a second match, honestly, between the two of us. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But you do have a point, and I think fans are going to be extremely excited with what they find when we wrestle, because it's gonna be exciting. We're not going to hold back. No, I'm excited.
Wait, and it sounds like that match that you guys had in 2017 was under pretty crazy circumstances. Adeline was telling us that you had been cutting to get to a weight class below, and she was like, "Oh, we need somebody else in this bracket to make money," and so she recruited you to come up in weight, and you ended up beating like world medalists, world champs on the way to meet her in the finals. What do you remember from that tournament?
I remember walking around the tournament before weigh-ins and begging people to allow me to go to 76. And fast forward, I skipped the entire day, and then I remember wrestling Adeline in the finals and just shooting and being shut down. Like, seriously, like, everything just got omitted. Like, I don't remember who I wrestled in between. I just remember begging to be in the 76 weight class, and then wrestling her in the finals, and just going, "Man, everything's being shut down left and right. None of the shots are getting through." That's really what I remember.
Who were you like begging? It was like, Terry? Who are you saying, "Let me go 76"?
I don't even remember. I was just, it was at the training center, and I remember going from the basketball gym to where they were having the tournament, and we were just walking around, like, just going to various people saying, "Hey, am I allowed to go up? Can I go up?" And I'm like, "Look, weigh-ins are about to happen. Can we like make this happen?
Help me out."
There's no point in me wrestling down there. I want to make money."
And you made some money.
And I made some money, yeah.
Awesome.
But I will say, next time I'm going to be a little bit smarter. I got to set up my shots a lot better. So that was like a learning experience back then.
Is to that point, maybe, is there like a UFC fight, right? These guys and ladies, they're training for 6, 8, 10 plus weeks with one person in mind. I got to just totally get ready to wrestle this one person. Is there any elements of this? I know you've wrestled her and you've trained a lot, and I'm sure you know each other, but like now and then there's like formulating a game plan. Like, she knows me real well, so how can I trick her, or where can she maybe? Is there game planning happening here?
Absolutely, of course, because she knows me well. She knows what I want to do, so I have to come in with a game plan. And I'm not going to say it, but
Of course,
you guys will see it.
that would be silly. Is this you? I would assume Terry's going to remove himself and not try to help you game plan or help her game plan. Maybe I'm wrong, but is it you and friends? Is it you and other wrestlers? Is it you and some coaches coming up with this game plan?
Me.
Yeah.
Me. It's me. I honestly, like, I mean, people come to me, they've been coming to me ever since we had announced that we were going to wrestle. And they've been going, Tamyra, you can beat her. You just got to believe in yourself. And I kind of don't like when people feed those kind of thoughts into me, because I start to like, get, I guess, anxious, and then I'm not confident, because everybody's just like pouring so much love and like admiration in me. And then I get flustered and go, oh, well, I can't live up to your expectations, and then I'm bouncing. So when it comes to a game plan, I don't want, I mean, to my knowledge right now, I don't know how I'm going to be on the 9th, but for my game plan, I have something in mind, and I don't want anybody to stray. I don't want somebody to stray me from it, because I know how I can beat Adeline, and yeah, she knows how I can beat her, and vice versa. So, yeah, I think we pretty much know, like, when it comes to that game plan, she knows. Like, she doesn't need somebody telling her, you just got to do this, because she knows, like you said, like, we wrestle all the time in practice.
You want me to give you some advice? I'm kidding.
I didn't want to roll my eyes, but I was like, keep them close.
I just told him just score more points. That's all. Or even score last and score the same amount of points. And you might, sometimes that works.
My college coach would always tell me, score first, score last. And that's the best advice that anybody has ever given. It makes sense, right?
Yeah, well, that's a good game plan.
Yeah.
And score often. Just keep scoring points.
Oh, yeah, that's another one. Score first, score last, score often.
Mm-hmm.
But set up your shots and be smart.
Especially when you're wrestling Adeline. Here I am giving you advice again. Sorry.
Actually.
You do what you want. I don't have any world titles, so I'll just talk about what's happening. So and I feel like we've gotten into this topic before, but I don't know, like 17, you were really good, but you didn't believe it, right? And as time went on, that was the mental fortitude, confidence, what you want to call it. How does that develop? Because I saw you in 17, you lost out, you were devastated. You weren't that much better of a technical wrestler in 2019. And 18, you're just a little bit more confident next year, and like I think a lot more confident in 2019. How does it get there?
A lot of people just pouring into me and telling me to believe in myself, and at the same time harnessing those feelings that I've gathered with those losses, just bottling them up and saving them for a rainy day, and remembering that you don't want to ever feel that again. Because I think I've always had the tools. A lot of coaches tell me, we can't coach your speed. Like, that's something that just can't be coached. And we can't coach your athleticism. Like, that's something that can't be coached. And I'm like, okay, throughout all these years. And now I'm like, you know what? They're right. Can't coach it. I have something special. And I just have to constantly just keep remembering that. And I mean, just pouring into myself over the years and praying about it, believing what God has given me is something that I can just overpower anybody, is definitely, Otis, Lula, stop it. Ooh, it's something that I can definitely, that I can definitely say, sorry y'all, that I can definitely say has been like one of the biggest things that has helped my my mental toughness. Because if I hadn't been believing in myself, I probably would still be where I was in 2017, just going, man, yeah, I have the mental tough, I have the
Physical
speed and the agility, but I don't think I can really be the best. But it was just believing that I can be the best. I have to believe what people are saying. Like, when I'm in practice, I'm sitting up there doing random turns and just scrambling with the best in the world. And people are always wanting to be my practice partner. Another thing that helped me was in 2016, when I didn't when I didn't qualify for the Olympics, Adeline and Elena were like racing to have me as their training partner for the Olympics. And I was like, oh, why me? Jeez, I don't want to go. So just things like that have definitely been helping me believe in myself. And I think that's the biggest thing. Just, yeah, people just pouring into me. I don't like it in the moment, but as it gathers through the years.
Okay. Okay, cool. Did you end up going to Rio as a training partner?
I did. Yes, I went.
With who? Which one?
Elena. Elena
Elena.
ended up asking me before Adeline.
She won the race.
Elena won the race. So I still got to go, and Adeline still used me.
Of course.
So
Yeah.
it still worked out for the both of them. And it worked out for me too, because I got to see what it was like at the Olympics. So it was good.
That was my next question was going to be, and I don't know if you're going to ask the same thing. What was that experience like, and was any of that experience being there help give you the confidence that you needed over the next few years?
That being there definitely helped me gain that confidence, because I wanted to be where they were at, and I knew I could be, because I remember all those matches that I had lost to qualify for the Olympics. They still resonate in my head even to this day. I remember Lula.
They will.
Stop. She's like playing with her bone, and she's just like running all around.
Yeah, it's okay.
But I can remember every single match and how I lost and why I lost and what was going through my mind. So being at the Olympics, I wanted to be where they were at, and I was like, man, no, I won't say that.
Come on, say it. Say it. Come on. It was on the tip of your tongue. Say it. Come on.
Omit it if it's too racy, but
we're live, so
there were no black people on that team.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, you can say that.
I was like, dang it!
There you
I'm
are.
like, I gotta represent my race. Like,
okay.
Let's go. So that was also something that was motivating me, just wanting to be like Randy Miller. Like, you guys know Randy Miller.
Of course.
She's an Olympic gold medalist. I wanted to like fall into her footsteps and surpass her. So that's another thing that like just helps me motivate myself to the person I am now. And I'm rambling, and I'll stop.
That's okay. I'm curious, like, I know in college, I redshirted a year and I wasn't starting. And by the end of the year, I'm beating the starter. And this happens a lot because the starter's cutting weight, they're training hard, they're under pressure. Here I was, fat and happy, no pressure, no competitions, no weigh-ins to come. So, like, I wonder if that ever happened at the Olympics. Like, and maybe even sometimes you had to, like, take your foot off the gas before the conference because you don't want to beat this guy and hurt their confidence. Did that ever happen in Rio? With either of them or anybody? Where you like had to take your foot off the gas because your goal there is to help these partners be as ready and confident as possible. And then that maybe helps your confidence in the end because you're like, I'm wrestling with and or beating these Olympians.
No, I was told not to take it easy.
Okay, that's good.
I will say I frustrated Adeline throughout the years anytime I was her training partner, and the same with Elena. Like they'd have to like pick it apart and be like, all right, she's doing this sweep single really fast. Let's pick it apart because you can't stop it right now. And so I'd be like, okay, about 30 times again and again and again and again. I'm like, I'm not letting up. This is fun. So because I did have a problem with that at one point when I was a training partner, and I had talked to Terry. I was like, Terry, should I let up? Like I feel bad for doing this, and he was like, absolutely not. Don't let up. Like if it's hard for them right now, it'll be easy for them when they're on the world mat and they're wrestling for that world championship, because they'll be like, well, Tamyra was harder than this. So it's honestly a good thing. So yeah, I'll be fat and happy, and I also like to put the pressure on my person that I'm there for as a training partner. Because just kind of digressing, for 2019 I had brought Maya Nelson for my training partner, and when I tell you she was fat and happy, and I was just down in the dumps. I had got hurt day one competition, and day two was there, and I was about to like try to wrestle for the finals for that world championship spot, and I'm telling you, she slapped the mess out of me. So I was feeling sorry for myself. When I mean she slapped me hard, she came down and slapped me. She was like, "Wake up!" And I was like, "Ugh, why? Why did you hit me? I'm so sad right now. My knee hurts. I don't want to be here. What's wrong with you?" And she's like, "Yeah, you have one more match. You better get your head in the game." And I was like, fine. And because of that, because of her not taking it easy on me, I think that was a result of me winning world championships. Because if she hadn't, I would have went in there feeling sorry for myself, going, "Oh, my knee. Oh, that's why I'm not going to be able to wrestle good." So I think I'm helping them by, going hard.
Are you bringing Maya with you here? Is she going to slap you? Are you bringing a training partner or?
Honestly, I don't even know how that works. I gotta be honest. I've been like texting people and going, "Hey, what did you do?"
Sure.
So I'm not entirely sure. I gotta figure it out. No comment.
Sure. I do like I like that Maya obviously just knows you well enough to not be like, "Hey, come on, you got this, sweetheart," or "Come on." She's like,
yeah, that girl. She don't let up.
That's what you need. Somebody's gonna be real with you.
It is, and that's what I felt like I was doing for them at the Olympics. Like
Yeah.
just and when I was a training partner, like giving them what they needed. They don't need somebody to go, "It's okay." When it comes to a training partner, like I feel like you have to put that pressure on so they can go out there and go, "All right, you know what? No one's as tough as my training partner that I brought." And if they don't want me, then they can just say, "Hey, you're not coming with me because I know what you're gonna do." So you have your choice between people.
Okay. Looking at the rest of this card, right? You got Burroughs and Taylor as the headliner, and a bunch of good matches prior to y'all. And then we've done a bunch of events. There have been a bunch of other events around, right? You're not your typical USA Wrestling or NCAA schedules, just like all these new, whatever you want to call them. Have there been any matches that have happened since COVID that have like been your favorites?
That have been my favorite. Honestly, it just recently happened. I would have to say Amy's and Tiade's. That was killer.
Wow, yeah. That headline?
I was like, you guys remember that? She like Amy was.
Do I remember that?
Yeah,
that lat drop, man.
Yes, like I don't know how many times I rewatched that, and then when you guys posted and we're like, "Here's a different angle," I'm like, oh snap! that was incredible.
And it was like she said in the interview after the match, she said like there was just like the tiniest opening, and she said she doesn't never hit a lat drop. Like she hits other throws, but not a lat drop. But she's like, she's like, I knew I was not gonna have more than the split second opening, so she's like, I had to go for it, and it worked. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was. I think that was by far like my all time favorite. It was sick.
Yeah,
it was sick. So that one.
When's the last time because you know your leg attacks are amazing, your power is unreal. When's the last time you threw somebody in a match? Have you? Surely
do firemen carry stuff?
Oh yeah.
I mean, he says yeah. I say no.
Wait.
It depends how you finish it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it depends on how you finish it.
I guess feet to back would be a throw.
It was at World Championships against France. Huh. I don't really throw people over my head. It's more like I pick them up and set them down. And I think that counts as a throw. It was against France. I had lost to her in 2018 in the semifinals. And when I wrestled her again in 2019, I was like, I don't give a fudge nugget about you. I'm picking you up. Like, I'm going to take every chance I can get. And so I consider that a throw.
Okay. Yeah. Do you get 4 points? Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No. And like too how you said, I picked her up and I set her down. Like most people be like, I picked her up and I slammed her. I picked her up, I threw her onto the mat. No, Tamyra, I picked her up and then I set her down gently and made sure she wasn't hurt and I asked her everything's okay. And then I hit a gut wrench.
Dang. Well, okay, yeah. So I don't really throw people. Fireman's carries is by far like the throw or
Yeah.
my 4 pointers, as well as my double legs. So I'm not really a thrower.
I mean, I guess a 4-point double leg's as exciting as a throw. When you
Yeah.
can spear somebody and
Right?
take them off their feet and
Yeah.
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 Just as exciting.
Eventually, I'll come in. I've been learning to do some throws here and there. So maybe
All right.
maybe one day.
Oh man, what if you threw Adeline?
It would probably be again a pick up and set down.
You don't have to be nice.
Honestly, it's not being nice. It's
Reality.
just. I don't even know how to describe it. I just don't want to throw somebody over my head. I'm like, where's my head gonna land? Like I do it with dummies all the time, but an actual person, I'm like, where that crash mat at? Oh,
You get that crash mat ready.
yeah.
All right. So I guess as far as training situation, COVID hit, the Olympic Training Center shut down. It opened up. Y'all were back in with COVID protocol, whatever, and then wham, it got shut down again. Where have you been training since? I don't even know how long ago that happened, but where have you been training for the last weeks, months?
So we're training in a place called Peyton, Colorado, and that's pretty much like down the street from me, about 15 minutes. And also, I trained at Victory Wrestling Club in Wisconsin, and I was just there last week. So So it's Peyton, and then for about a week, I was in Victory, and I was training with Precious Bell
Of course, I know
Yeah.
Precious Bell.
and Kevin Black. Yeah,
Yep, of
so
course.
that's where I was at, and it was awesome training. Oh my gosh.
What was awesome about it?
The grind that they put me through. Kevin Black has these incredible workouts that are just unreal. He incorporated wrestling live with like sit-ups and crunches and all these weird exercises that you have to use your core and your arms. Like one example, the roly
With the forearms? It's got the weight
yeah,
on
with
it?
the forearms on. Yeah, that thing he had us put it on our feet and we had to bear crawl.
Oh, the
After
ab
already
roller.
wrestling that I don't even know what to call
Ab
it.
roller.
An ab roller.
Yeah,
roller,
you
yeah.
roll out and then roll back, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He
Put
had
on your
us put
feet?
it on our feet. And we had to bear crawl for like a minute and a half. I was like, what is wrong with this man? Like I could barely do it. And another thing he had us doing med ball. I don't even know what these are called, but we were on a med ball on our back and we had to do like lat I don't even yeah, I suck at this, y'all. But
Butterflies?
yeah, with weights in our hand.
Yep.
Basically, he came up with some really, really crazy stuff, and I loved it. It was so fun, and it was different, and I appreciated just the variety that he had to offer us. It was great, and they just have a really good setup.
Yeah.
So it was nice.
Something to break up the monotony is always nice. Changing atmosphere,
Yeah,
changing
right?
workout, changing tempo, pace, faces.
Yes, it was great, and this was the first trip that I've traveled that was wrestling related since all the COVID shut down. Because the last time I
wow.
traveled was in Canada, Canada, the
Pan
Cup,
Ams? Yeah.
yeah, the Pan Ams. So I was just like, this is awesome. I haven't traveled for wrestling in forever. All I do when I travel is go see my family. So this is fantastic.
It's weird traveling at post or during COVID. We're like every time I've traveled maybe 4 times or something like that in 9 months, and the airport's like empty. There's no lines. Most of the restaurants are closed. It's just like
Right?
it's kind of freaky, right? Weird.
Yes.
Everyone's
But
wearing a
it's
mask.
weird. So, and you have to wear a mask. What's weird about that, on this trip, and actually on several trips, the airport or the airplanes have been so packed. Like,
Really?
I don't understand. Yeah, for me, for my flights, the planes have pretty much been packed.
You've been
I
on the
don't
wrong
think there's
airline.
been a time where. Say what?
You've been on the wrong airlines.
United.
Yeah, I'm a Delta guy. They keep the middle seat empty. They won't sell them right now.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. Okay, United doesn't do that.
I know.
Like,
You're on the wrong airline.
no, I'm on the right.
I had one United airline flight since this whole thing started, and it was a packed. And we stopped in Denver, and the airport was packed, like a shopping mall on Christmas or Christmas season. I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah,
People
it's
everywhere.
A whole other world.
Like, it's weird to feel weird around people,
Yeah.
right?
I know, right? It's kind of nice though, like when people are giving you your space, because I don't like touching shoulder to shoulder.
Oh,
So when
yeah.
people are like, "Oh, let me get away from you," I'm like, "Thank you. Don't want to touch your shoulder." I love that about this. I'm like, yes, aerial. Like, I love just doing like 360 and just like spin around and nobody's by me. It's fantastic. I don't like touching strangers. I'm already like kind of a germaphobe, so this is it's been great. But yeah, United, they have been, and I have nothing against United. I'm a Premier 1K member and I'm loving everything of it. So they treat me good.
Your USA Wrestling folk are united, and good for you. You're always so fun to talk to. You always like pop with personality, and you're engaging. And I feel like last time we chatted, didn't you answer the door and you did like an unboxing of a gift? Do you remember this? I don't even remember what it was. What was it?
It was something from Walmart. I think it was cocoa butter. It was my lotion.
Oh yeah.
It was something like that. And I was like, oh yeah, I do my shopping online. I have them delivered. And I really do. Like, you'll see, I have 2 boxes in my household right now of HelloFresh. I get my food delivered and I get to cook it and make it all nice. I should start doing videos. Because I make like so many HelloFresh meals, but I don't post any of them. I'm just like, look at this masterpiece. It's so beautiful. And I'm not taking any pictures.
HelloFresh is that like Hello Kitty? No, I got a little kid.
No. It's not like Hello Kitty. It's even better because they send you fresh ingredients to your doorstep and you can make them. Here.
Okay, another field trip with Tamyra. What do you
Say
got?
What do we
I said
got?
another field trip. You going to get us something? Or show and tell?
Oh, there we go.
There
This
we
is
have
one.
it. Steakhouse.
This is one.
Ooh.
Wait,
Garden soup, veggie garden soup, Italian veggie garden
This
soup.
is one.
What's
that
that?
looks
Pork
good.
and black beans? Pork and black bean
Yeah,
chili.
it's chili. This is one.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Bologna.
This
Bolognese.
is one.
I get the.
I like
This is one.
It's hard to see with the light
Yeah.
glare. Okay.
Oh, I know.
That's not your fault. There we go. Sesame soy pork bowl. See, I can read it. Spicy maple chicken. Do you have a favorite, Tamyra?
I do.
Tuscan pork.
This one.
Creamy. Ooh, lemon, spinach, ricotta, ravioli. All right, that looks good.
Yeah, it looks
That
great.
looks good. I like the way
And
you
I
put it
just
up and then
recently
slowly
made
pulled it
this
back.
one. Oh,
Pork
right.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
that's
like a
great.
pro. I was like, is that the camera zooming out or is that Tamyra pulling it back?
There's so many of them, y'all. But I just made this one and it was freaking delicious.
All right,
Ooh.
black bean and poblano flautas.
So there's a whole lot more. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of cooking from HelloFresh. Like the meat ones are obviously from my husband since I'm a pescatarian. But yeah, it's been so good. I
They're
love
gonna have to sponsor you
HelloFresh.
soon. They're gonna have to sponsor you soon, I think.
How do I even make that happen? I should never make that happen.
Yeah, we'll call Hello Kitty and see if we can.
Call Hello Kitty, show them this show.
Hello
Don't
Fresh.
we call it Hello Kitty? She can't help me. You need to call Hello Fresh.
Hello Kitty is more powerful than you think. Anyways, I don't know.
It's like no, actually, all right. Who do you think is more powerful, Hello Kitty or those Happy Bears, the Care Bears?
Oh, you're going old school on the Care Bears, right?
It's Care Bears for sure. I've never seen Hello Kitty shoot a rainbow out of her body.
Done deal. Big Care Bear guy over here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Big time.
Oh, that's awesome. Look, I watch a lot of
I think I was
cartoons,
joking,
anime
but
specifically.
hey, since you brought up food, I got a somewhat serious question. This match is at her weight, right? It's up at 70, 76 kilos.
Yeah.
Where do you think you'll weigh? I know you're not supposed to ask a woman her weight, but this is relevant.
Wait, you're not supposed to ask me my weight, but you're
No,
asking
in
me
general,
my weight?
not you, but like you're not just supposed to ask a girl how much she weighs because
Oh, you're not supposed to ask a 28-year-old woman how much she weighs.
unless she has a weight class for a competition. In that case, I think it's fair game.
I will make sure I'm 76.
Really?
Really, really.
All right. That's the most serious I've seen her the whole show. I don't know last thing. Yes.
I might be a little lighter, but it's okay. I like 76. I got
You're going to
it.
be right up. So there's not going to be a weighted, like when Burroughs and David Taylor wrestle, there'll be some kind of, they're wrestling at David's weight and Jordan's not going to be that big, but you're like, nah,
Yeah.
there's no weight advantage here. Straight up.
Yeah, no, there's no weight advantage. Nah, y'all. I've been I'm not gonna say I've been fat and happy, but I've been built and happy.
There
Like
you
you
go.
see these muscles? Like,
Dang.
Gun show.
Yep.
wait, where are they?
There we go.
There, I've got a lot of muscle on me, so it'll actually be pretty even. It'll be good.
Awesome. Awesome. We're
That's
very much
great.
looking forward to it. When you get to town? A couple days over?
The 7th.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we will be
So
here.
I'll be. When I was in Wisconsin, y'all, I accidentally got to 74. I was like, freaking A, don't do that one. Kevin's working me a little too hard.
Wait, do we have a friend before we sign off? Who's in your lap?
Oh,
Yeah.
Lula, the one that's been making a lot of noise.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
She's cute. I do that with my hair sometimes.
That's great. I like that.
Yeah, this is Lula. She's a little baby until I have kids. She's
How old is she?
she's so hyper.
She's chill right now.
She's very well behaved right now.
Oh yeah, no, she's well behaved, but y'all didn't hear that noise she was making? Like she was
Oh,
growling
yeah.
at me to pick her up. That's why I picked her up.
And then she's cool.
She's 1. She's like a little over 1 year old. I got her when
Oh,
she was
she's
3
a
months
cutie.
old.
So she's gonna be around
Yeah,
for a
she
while.
was adorable. And I grew her myself. So
Wow.
She's
cool.
beautiful.
they call her a what are they called? Teddy bear. Shih Tzu mixed with a Bichon.
Okay.
Yeah. She's a perfect dog for kids of all ages. Because she's hyper but small. So when she jumps on a 2-year-old, she's not really gonna knock them down.
They'll be fine. They'll be fine.
they'll be fine.
Yes. Awesome. Well, Tamyra, it always is a lot of fun. We should just have our own Tamyra show or something because it'd be wildly
I do
entertaining.
have a Tamyra show.
There we go. Plug it.
Yeah, no, it's called Titan Tuesdays Behind the Singlet with your host Tamyra Mensah-Stock, and then I
Awesome.
bring on various Titan Mercury athletes and just interview them, and it's just fun interviews. I love doing it. It's not super serious. It's kind of like what we just did now, and I just ask like a whole bunch of like random questions, some serious. So yeah, I got plugged into it.
I dig it. I'm gonna have to check that one out because your personality is something you have a lot of. Cool. Well, I'm going to give you the last word. Parting thoughts or anything you might want to say before we let you get going about how bad you're going to smash Adeline. I'm just kidding. Anything you want to say?
That is so funny. I love how you're trying to like make me say something mean.
I know
Like,
you guys
just
won't.
give me a little something.
That's okay.
All right. So my parting words, you guys, thank you so much for having me on your show. And when it comes to all this COVID and like this not knowing, just make sure that you continue to smile throughout the day, because even though it might be forced, it'll become habitual. And look at positive things. I know there's a lot of negative stuff going on around the world and in the news, and sometimes you just have to plug yourself away from that. And if you need to, just put on a comedy show. I think laughter is the best medicine, and I think it definitely can heal a lot of depression that's going around. Because I know those that aren't able to wrestle are probably like depressed. Like it's a common thing. So please, please, please smile. If you want to go to my page, Tamyra Mensah-Stock, I will have stuff for you to smile. I love bringing joy to people, and when it comes to this match, I guarantee you it will also bring you joy. So please tune in to watch me and Adeline Gray wrestle June 9th, because I guarantee you it's gonna be so fun to watch and wrestle.
Yes, and smiling is something you do well, and I mean that seriously. It's natural, and you make other people smile. Every time I'm around you, I start smiling. So I appreciate you. I appreciate your message at the end, and thanks for coming on. And we can't wait for you and Adeline to lock horns on January 9th.
Me too.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
All right, man. David, I'm like more excited than I was when this day started. And the second, I think it was the day after Christmas, the match got announced, was pumped. But even more so after hearing both these ladies and talking to them, and they're always just both engaging and entertaining.
Yeah, and you wonder, for me, like I've wondered how often they train together, what those goes look like, and just to hear how back and forth it is, how competitive the practice room bouts are. It just makes me really excited. They're both like, yeah, I mean, she gets better than me sometimes, so do I. So that's a good situation.
Yeah. January 9th can't get here soon enough, but we will have to wait. That's going to do it. This is the last show of the year of 2020. We'll be back next week as usual, and we're going to get ready for this dang thing to happen. So that's going to be it for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Oh, if you haven't got a chance, check out The Life of Dan Gable. It's dropped. It's on the site. It's live. You're going to love it if you're a wrestling fan. And if you're watching this, you're probably a wrestling fan. So if not, thanks. For David Bray, I'm Mark Bader. And for Tyler in the back pulling the strings, thanks so much. We'll see you guys next year.